these are the scriptures that correction is from the mouth. We've had fathers of the flesh that corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not be more in subject to the Father of spirits and live? Despise not the chastening of our Lord, neither weary of his correction. And these words, chastening and correction, have to do with from the mouth. I'm going to show you in a minute. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men, but he will have mercy and shall not depart from him. The man who commits iniquity, God has mercy on him and does not depart from him. But men will lay their stripes on him and the stripes of the children of men, but God has mercy on him. And he allows this to go on, but this word iniquity is interchangeable with fornication. So this does not mean your child has committed iniquity and is in this situation where is being beaten of men or stripes from men or even from parents. Whoever we get these stripes, it's not necessary, and God will not depart from us. He comforts us in this time. It is not about inflicting pain. There is this mention of the rod of God being what Moses had. He did all these miraculous things with this rod of God over rivers and waters and hitting rocks with it. The rod of God is not on the wicked in Job, it says. Also, let him take his rod away from me. Let not his fear terrify me. Then I would speak. If he takes this rod away, if God was to take his rod away from Job, then he would speak. And so that's significant. And then thy rod and thy staff comfort me. This fear and this stuff is not the way that we're trying to interpret this, that God is going to torture you or something, because his rod is comfort to us. It is mentioned in Psalms. So I will visit their transgressions with the rod, and their iniquity with stripes. Once again, that goes back to this iniquity thing. This that relates to more like intercourse type sins. And then the Lord send the rod of thy strength. And so that's in there as well. They have refused to receive correction. They obey not the voice and nor receive correction. And this is what the Lord has to offer, not a rod to beat you with. The rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous. And then this is this fool's back rod reference that comes up here, because I'll have to mention this says a rod. I almost messed up and wrote the rod here, you see, because it's so easy to misrepresent the truth. It's right there plain, but it says a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. And in the context, it's talking about a mouth of a wicked and a foolish man. And there's this other passage that talks about the rod is for a fool's back. So if you are literally taking a rod to your child or beating your child, you're saying they are void of understanding because they are wicked and foolish. And this is for someone that's more mature than a child. A child does not even know these things. And this is what the only point in the Bible where it's talking about a rod that is for this, and we still don't even know if it's a literal or figurative. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him. This is early B times, is before he is early and in life. This is the passage about a rod, but it says his rod, not and so it's the way this is quoted is spare thee rod, as if you have a rod you're beating your child with, but this chastening is it means corruption, and this comes from the lips, from the mouth in the Bible. As I continue to outline this, you can't stop with this passage when you find out that this chastening, it has to do from the mouth. It does not have to do with a physical rod. um, and then this is where he took every man his rod. In the mouth of the foolish, a rod of pride is in the mouth of the foolish. The rod of his anger shall fail. That's on he that soweth iniquity again. The rod of his anger shall fail. And then I kind of got this packed in here, but foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Correction, not silence, beating, not saying anything, beating them, or saying something and beating them anyway, but its correction is from the mouth. Withhold not correction from a child. If thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. He shall be deliver his soul from hell. And this is not a physical rod to beat your child with, because you cannot beat someone's spirit out. You can beat a horse's spirit out, but you cannot beat people's spirit with a physical rod. We know that you can't change people's mind with the beating. And in order to deliver them from soul, you're going to need this from the mouth, this correction. You're going to need this from the mouth thing. You can't just beat someone and beat sense into someone. We know that doesn't work. This is, my son, if thy heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. So your heart, that's about your heart being wise. My rein shall rejoice when thy lips speak right things. Thy lips speak right things. And then the Bible, encourages these three things here. Reproof, which is rebuke, that's from the lips. And withhold not correction is from the lips. And the rod of thy correction, drive it from them, is from the lips. The rod of his mouth, it's down here in this verse I'm going to show you. Smite not the earth with the rod of his mouth. Okay, God uses his mouth. He doesn't have a physical rod like that. That man is creating that. A rod out of the stream of Jesse will branch forth and go for the roots. That's a prophecy we know about a Messiah or Jesus or someone. The rod is mine anger. The staff in their hands is my indignation, which is righteous anger. This rod that was used had a lot of righteous things that it did. It provided water, and it also divided the waters. It had a lot to do with water, and holding it out over the river. The rod of reproof giveth wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth forth to his mother a shame. This is rebuke is from the mouth. This is not a rod of reproof and beating rod to beat someone with. This is speaking to someone intelligently, because it can give wisdom. You don't just start beating wisdom into people. And then it does bring a mother's shame, but this is not, this is clearly to be from the mouth when you look this up and study this. Then there is the rod of his wrath that goes on with that other passage. Sorry. The rod of his wrath. And violence is raised up into a rod of wickedness, a rod of wickedness. Violence is raised into a rod of wickedness. And then, this is figurative kind of thing. Shall I come unto you with a rod, or in love and in the spirit of meekness? That's what the New Testament says about this. That we notice that this is correction. He could not have taken a physical rod and beat all those people and try to beat sense in them. He would be outnumbered, and he could be killed. But this is a rod of correction. He's saying, should I start correcting you, or should I just be in love and in the spirit of meekness and show you the truth, like what I'm doing here? And then this is something I've added that I probably have to do another YouTube for, but in the Bible, when you look up perfect will of God, be thou perfect, in one, his way is perfect, be ye perfect as God is perfect. His perfectness, his way, his righteousness, and fruits of the Spirit are love, peace, and joy. And then it says, after discussing fruits of the Spirit of spiritual nature, then it says, a more excellent way I show you. And the whole next chapter talks about love, charity. And so love, peace, and joy is this perfect new way. It says, when that which is perfect is come in 1 Corinthians 13 there. And this is charity, this is love. This is not the Bible, because the Bible is not mentioned in this context when it says that which is perfect. Also, this came from a book of spiritual laws which are in the Bible. All these laws of giving is in the Bible, laws of cause and effect or karma is in the Bible, law of pure potential, law of least effort, law of intention and desire, law of detachment, law of purpose in life. All these are in the Bible. They're laws. And so man has told you that the perfect law of liberty is the Bible. But that's not true. I'm going to show you that it says, whosoever looks into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, him being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer, this man shall be blessed in his deeds and his work. His deeds are righteousness. The work of the perfect, when you outline this in the Bible, I just showed you, it means love, peace, and joy. And liberty comes up the bondage of corruption, to be freed from the bondage of corruption. And I list these verses here, we'll go into them, but the perfect law, as if it was a law of liberty, is how love, peace, and joy can liberty you from the bondage of corruption. And so when you outline, I'll show liberty, it's proclaim liberty all these times in the Bible. It's set at liberty all these times in the Bible. Creatures shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. Why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? Our liberty which we have in Christ, that they might bring us unto bondage, is the same words correlating again. And then so do they, as they that should be judged by the law of liberty. This in that context, and this is the other law of liberty passage there in James that I should go over and read that so that you can be clear on that one as well. But the law of liberty is to be freed from the bondage of corruption, those that do so. If you read that text, you can find out that for sure it can be related to a law and not someone keeping laws, because that text is talking about respect of persons. And it says you can keep the law and try to be in the law, like as if we're talking about this as the Bible, but it says you could still offend in that one point. But it says the people that want to be judged by the law of liberty, which is love, peace, and joy, and being freed from the bondage of corruption, these people, they do so as they that shall be judged from the law of liberty. That's who these people are talking about, because this whole chapter 2 is talking about respect of persons. So they promise liberty. They themselves are servants of corruption, of whom a man is overcome, of the same he is brought in bondage. So that's another passage on that. So I've covered these passages. I've gone over the rod in the Bible of God being love, peace, and joy. And as long as we make love, peace, and joy with our children, and as long as we can correct them with our mouth, we're doing okay.